Hello, my name is Mr. McEwen, and I'm presenting my final design for laser names. This is obviously created for HIBA. This is a laser cut um, um, project. It has some masking on the front of a design that I picked out and then painted over to get the red and wood. It has 3 layers for each letter, and the base is created by 3 layers as well. Okay. Okay. Let's just say. Wait, I gotta turn everything on. Okay, there we got HIBA. Then we have the extrusion, size creating the scaling, pulling down the H, the I, the B, the A, so that we can fit them into the bottom of the base. Now creating the base, pressing the whole name into the base, and cutting away the hole that the letters are creating, which is hard to see, so I can do this. I can turn off your letters. You can see that that's what's happened. All right. And that is what I use to create the model. I can turn off the sketch. I can also show you the render. There it is. I'm going to turn off my origin. There's my fully rendered. I brought in the DXS into Illustrator, and this was the finished product. You can see if I pull this over to the side that I placed the SVG of the pattern over the A and the I. Then I've used some blocking, just some different shapes to block off the rest so I didn't have to waste time rastering parts that I didn't need. I just wanted the H rastered. I did some copying and pasting. I placed, and that was just arranging these white squares so that they would save me some time because it would take it a lot longer. Here is the pathway. For the bottom 2 of the base, I just printed the outside, not the the cutouts for the letters. This only took about 15 minutes to cut, and then around each of the letters is a vector line that cuts each letter out, like right here, a path. Of course, that's 0.003, and I rastered at 100 to 100. Then I took that into Illustrator behind me, where I adjusted the sizes just a little bit. So it would cut each piece out of 5mm plywood. I cut a set of them, but first I masked the entire piece with a piece of masking tape. Then within the image itself, I created the design template and placed it over each of the letters and adjusted it so it kind of lined up nicely. Then I set the laser cutter to vector out each letter and raster the design onto each letter. I cut several other copies of this in order to get to the full finished product that you see in front of you here. During production, I did create a I did create a prototype out of just cardboard, and that actually solved a lot of problems because the size of the holes were different, were a little bit too large. So I was able to adjust that when I cut out my final design. Here you can see for production, you can see actually this one is still got the mask on it, and I could peel away a little bit of the tape there, and you can see where the natural wood is still underneath. Some of the problems I had were when I spray painted. I probably should include some high quality pictures to show this. But when I spray painted it, a little bit of the paint came through the masking tape and onto the natural wood, which was something I didn't realize was going to happen. So I recut a couple of letters and made sure that the masking tape was on completely. And then I sprayed from using spray can outside from a distance far enough away to where it just lightly sat on the wood. Okay, just taking the time to allow the tape to not absorb the paint. I did 2 coats for red, and I think it came out pretty good. There's still a little bit of bleeding, but that's to be expected. Let me see. Oops, don't switch. All right. So the final thing I needed to do after I'd spray painted and taken the masking off was I needed to glue 3 of the layers together. I did this with wood glue. I used a paintbrush to paint on the glue, so I just got on the letter. I didn't want to make glue anywhere along the edges. Clamped them together really carefully. So they all lined up, and then I let that dry for overnight. Some of the changes I made to the project, originally it was supposed to be purple and red, like a faded. And I was going to do that with acrylics, but I didn't have time, so I did all red. But I'm currently going to go back and change that, a couple of letters to black, so I still have a little bit of work to do. Change that to black, so some of the letters will be black. The other change I made was I wanted the letters to be able to come up and sit down like this, so that you could take out the letters. That was fine until I realized the B, there was a problem with the B. It doesn't stand up. Well, it kind of does. So that was one of the things on my design specifications, is that she could take them out, maybe even change out the colors that were in it. So I had to change that because the B is top heavy. I would have had to give it a little bit more, and that did not happen. Don't switch. Okay.